What's up, everybody? Ryan Bresnan here. I want to talk to you guys about mindfulness today during the talking point. So, we're going to talk about what mindfulness is, what it can mean for us, and then how to use it in our life. What does it mean to us, but how is it going to actually be beneficial? So, I want to start off by asking you a question. When is a time in your life that you've ever overthought something? I kind of mentioned this in my last video that you might have overthought something, or you knew someone, maybe it was a girl, maybe a family member, maybe a friend, where you maybe had heard that they said something about you, or you had a feeling, you saw something on social media, that's just crazy how that happens, and I've done that. And then you start overthinking this thing. You're like, maybe they did say that. Maybe that one time 2 years ago, when they did this action or they made this joke, maybe they really meant it. You know what? Maybe 2 months ago, maybe they meant that too. Oh, maybe they don't like me. Maybe they hate me. Maybe they want to kill me. Maybe they think I'm weird. I just created this whole entire story. Have you ever done that? Does this sound familiar? Does this ring a bell? Have you ever experienced that? I know I have. I know I've done that millions of times. And it's pretty funny how we all do it, or at least I've done it a lot. And at points even I've labeled myself, oh, I'm such an overthinker. Oh, I do this so much. I worry too much. Oh, you're a worrier. I remember people used to tell me I was sensitive. Oh, you're sensitive. You think too much. Well, guess what? Then you're creating a whole nother story there on its own. So really what mindfulness means to me and what it has meant recently, so what is mindfulness, is I think it's the ability to see those stories before they happen. You see it before you create it. And you may even hear a little bit of it. And I think that's okay. I think mindfulness is the ability, it's almost like awareness, to sense that you're starting to create a story, or sense that you want to create a story, that you may feel hurt, you may feel emotional, you may feel like you're wanted, or you want to be wanted. So you start coming up with all these crazy fantasies in order to satisfy that need. And I think awareness slash mindfulness is really the ability to perceive that and be clairvoyant of that to a point before it even happens. And okay, why is that important, Ryan? Why is that such an important tool? Well, if you're constantly in your head creating stories like I have tons of times in the past, number one, they're not right. So let's say you go up to that person and you confront them, and I've done this with girls, where I'll go up to them and I like, whatever it is, I might overthink that maybe I didn't kiss them the first date, or maybe I didn't make the move, or whatever. Like, they don't like me. Maybe they're talking to another guy, and I may not confront them directly, but it shows up in my actions. Whereas I start acting weird. I don't tell the truth as much. I get more distant. It's my ego comes up, my defense mechanism. I maybe start trying to act as if it were happening, and I had to protect myself and be all pushy and like, no, I don't want to talk to you, whatever. And then it ruins the whole relationship. And it's all based on a fantasy, something that's made up, esoteric, abstract, that is not of this world. So it's very interesting how we all do that. I mean, think about a time that you might have done something similar, kind of like I brought up to open this video. Think about how it made you feel. Did you feel right? Did you feel stupid after? Did you feel like, why did I do that? I know that's kind of how I felt. But there's light at the end of the tunnel always. There's always a silver lining. I'm glad I've done that in the past, because now I know what it feels like, and now I know I don't want to do that again, and I know what to work at. So really, that's what mindfulness can do for us. That's number two, is that mindfulness gives us the ability to be clairvoyant and clear on what stories we are listening to, and the stories that we listen to determine our actions. And then what do our actions determine? Our actions determine our life. If I turn left on a road, I'm going to end up in a totally different place than if I turn right. If I eat a burger every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm going to look, feel, act, and live differently as if I ate a salad or fruit or something else, just healthy versus unhealthy. General example. Our decisions time and time again make up who we become, how we feel, and then how we impact the world. And isn't that the most important? How we feel is how confident we are. Who we are is how people view us. How we impact the world is what mark we live on the world. That's why you're watching this video, I assume. You're interested in this. So these decisions, this awareness is really the basis for life. It's really the basis for how we live while we're here. And if we build the foundation to make it strong, to make it aware, to make you be able to see things before they lead you astray, that's a superpower. So I feel like awareness and seeing all this is so important. Being able to have clarity on what you're thinking and what stories you may be creating for yourself. So that's really the benefit of what clarity is in our life is, okay, how clear can I be? If I want to get to this goal, I need to watch out for the stories I'm going to make up for myself, because it's going to happen. Even now, I still do it to this day. It's, okay, how clear can I be to know whenever I'm going to come up with the story and know how to backtrack, know how to go under or around, or just not even listen to it. So really it all starts with how aware, how clear can you be with yourself, and that really starts with the practices that you do. That's one thing that helps me with it. So meditation has always helped. Reading has always helped. Journaling has always helped so much for me to realize if I'm creating stories. So I'll journal and I'll say, okay, this is how I feel about a certain subject. This is how I feel about this girl. This is how I feel about my goal. It may not be happening the way I'm wanting it to. And then I write it down and I kind of look at it from an objective perspective now, because now it's not written, now it's not in my mind, it's written on a book. So I can look at it as a third person to say, you know what, this sounds kind of crazy. Is this really true? I might even write my question. And I might even say, okay, how realistic is this? Did they really say this about me? And if they did, if it is true, what does that mean? Like, does that affect me? Does that affect who I am? Does that affect who I'm going to be? No, unless I let it. Unless I create all these stories and then say, oh, it means I'm this and they think this. I think we just got to get out of our heads at the end of the day. So this mindfulness is really important to be able to just realize that we will all create stories for ourselves, whether we do it or whether society tells us to do it, and what movies are saying, what happens, what society's saying about relationships and cheating, and those are just general things. I'm going off relationships because, to be quite transparent, that's where I've had the most problem with this. I've had a lot of challenges in the past and recent of me making up crazy fantasy stories of all this stuff going on, and 99% of the time it's not true. And even if there is some truth to it, it's never as bad as you think, because guess what? At the end of the day, if you pursue your goal and if you are true to yourself and you don't listen to those stories, you're just living your own life. Those stories, that reality of what the other person might be doing, has nothing to do with you. So even I feel like this stacks into confidence. Okay, if I am not constantly building and almost like it's almost like porn for your mind, like you just can't stop like listening to it and watching it and hearing it. If you just get out of that zone, now you're free, now you're open, now you can see. You're not looking through the fog and mist anymore. You're able to clearly see your objective, go to it, be more confident, enjoy more out of life. So that's really where this clarity and focus and mindfulness becomes so important. This is something that I've been doing a lot recently, is kind of digging into my own psyche, you can say, and realizing my patterns that I have of creating these crazy stories and fantasies, because that's really what they are. The second I look at them, I'm like, wow, these are pretty crazy stories and fantasies. Like, this is a big deal. I spent half of my day thinking about this. If I took my right back, if I took my psyche back, man, I got half more. I got 50% more time, 50% more energy, clarity, and focus that I can use to achieve my dreams and be who I want to be and love who I am. So, very important lesson. I wanted to share it with you guys. This is something that has impacted me tremendously. I want to leave you guys with a question. Just think about, I really want you, like, almost sit there, close your eyes. I really want you to imagine what it would feel like to not have to listen to all these stories that you create for yourself, to not have to live in fantasy world where someone may have hurt you or someone may be talking crap about you or whatever it is. What would it really feel like to just live, to just not have to think about what someone said, what someone may be doing, what that girl might have said, what your boss might think of you, what your client might think of you because you said this, and what does that mean? What does this mean? None of it means anything unless you give it meaning. So I think the more we just take our power back from our thoughts, our back from things that aren't even real, the more power we feel, the more powerful we are. And those are the people that you notice when they walk in the room. They don't give a shit about what anybody's thinking because they are not subscribed to those thoughts that come in their head. They just know who they are, they know who they're going to be, and that's all they know. They don't know any fantasies, they don't know any different. So really close your eyes and imagine how it would feel to just be able to walk into a room and not have to think about what other people were thinking about what you said, what they heard, or what they saw. That's a pretty cool feeling. So all this clarity, awareness, mindfulness, it's important stuff. This is really the foundation that can determine the decisions, who we are, how confident we are, and how powerful we feel in the world. Done.